Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to the left. Kick your right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your span, parallel feet, choose the right side, cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good golden cockerel, remembering your Tai Chi posture, and right away capturing that image or positive experience or thought to uplift your Tai Chi for better relaxation. Okay. Opening up our span, thinking about how we're going to shift our weight to the left, using our spirals and using our counterbalancing, keeping our good Tai Chi posture. Here we go. Golden cockerel stands on its left. One set more. Kicking out. 50-50, gather energy, shift weight to the left. Center yourselves, kick out to follow. Center and out. Last set. Holding your ball on the T stance, root down, good Tai Chi posture. Out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Get a good stretch, good Tai Chi posture. Sit down, sit back, pivot, hold your ball, round it out and to the side, spiral it out. Sit back, sit down, pivot, round out your ball on a T, out on an L, move that ball, get a good stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, ball and T, L and ball, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, round circular movements, shift weight, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Listen carefully, sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee 1. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, spiral to your shoulder, spiral to the above, spiral to your ear, turn the hips and waist, spiral out. Sit back, sit down, spiral to the shoulder, spiral to the higher, out and to the side, bring it to the ear as you spiral around. Sit back, sit down, pivot, looking for that spiral to your shoulder, out and to the side, turn the hips and waist, spiral around. Sit back, sit down, spiral nicely to your shoulder as the one goes up higher, curl that spiral to your ear, around your hips and waist. Sit back, sit down. Brush your knee. Brush your knee. Hold your ball on a T-stance. We're going to ward off. Take an L, push your opponent away, pause. Turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Sit down, sit back, look back. Turn at your hips and waist, push out from the center, roll back, spiral up and forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot. Right hand on the bottom, holding your ball. Right foot out on an L, right hand pushes the opponent. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail as you sit down, sit back, look back. Contact, turn at the hips and waist, push from the center, separate the hands and roll back, and spiral forward. Sit down, sit back, twist, ball T, L ball, push, pause, turn hips and waist, reposition your hands, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, push from the center, roll back, sit down, spiral up and out. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift your weight, pause, turn, grasp the bird's tail, sit down, sit back. Contact, turn at the hips and waist, push, spiral, and spiral. Sit down, sit back, pivot, left hand on the bottom, left foot ready to go, out and to the side, push away. Pause, turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, look back, contact, turn at the hips and waist, push out, separate, spiral back, spiral forward. Sit down, sit back, listen carefully, shift weight, you're going to part the wild horse's mane, out and to the side. Here it is. Flip the forward hand, join it with the back. Cloud hands, middle cup. Two things happen at 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock, middle cup. 3 o'clock, two things happen. 9 o'clock, only one thing happens. Middle cup. 3 o'clock, two things happen. Middle cup. 9 o'clock, two things happen. Middle cup. One thing happens to shift your weight up to a golden cockerel. Other side. Down, center, and out. Center and out. Holding your ball. Do it perfectly. Out and to the side. Push away, ward off. Turn the hips and waist to grasp the bird's tail. Sit back, look back, turn back. Contact, push from the center. Spiral, round. Spiral, out. Sit down, sit back, pivot. Shift weight, hold your ball. Out and to the side, push away. Pause, turn hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail, look back. Contact, turn, push, separate, roll back. Sit down and spiral forward. Closing form, sit down, sit back. Twist, open, in, embrace the tiger, right hand inside. Rotate up, both palms are facing. Push in, push out, separate. Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, tuck your elbows as you now close your form. So in grasping the bird's tail, you step out, you ward off, you pause, So if you pause, you stop here. A lot of times people do not use that pause in the correct way, and they're out here, and they will fall, okay? And you can see that I'm already forward. So listen carefully. When you ward off, you step out, you ward off and pause. You turn your hips and waists, reposition your hands, you sit down, sit back, look back, contact, turn at the hips and waists, push from the center, separate your hands, spiral back, and spiral forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot, round out your ball to make a circle, out and to the side, ward off. Turn hips and waists, reposition hands, sit down, sit back, look back, contact, turn at the hips and waists, push that energy out, separate and roll back, and spiral forward. So sometimes you have everything correct, but when you sit back, you're not creating a spiral. It's pretty flat, and then you're pushing out. So when you spiral back, there's your semicircle here. There's that semicircle there. So if you notice everything about me, the foot in the back is never lifted. That would create a fall. You are not balanced. So make sure that that back foot is flat. At no time is the back foot ever raised. The front foot is raised to get rid of the weight there so it can be an insubstantial, while this one is the weighted or substantial foot. So you have to alternate. If one is going to be weightless, the other guy's got to take the weight. But they cannot both be helping you to fall. You've got to get something stable. You've got to keep your Tai Chi posture. So a good self-check would be, in all of the movements, if your knee is within the boundary of your toe, you are more than likely upright. But once you decide that you want to follow your hand, your knee is way beyond your toe and you will fall. So good self-check, right? And you have your finger to make sure that you're posted correctly. Another thing is that you don't want to do it so that the back foot is locked, but you want to keep it pretty straight, but you want to keep it flexible. Once it's locked and you can lock it, it's going to shift your Tai Chi posture. Okay? Good question that I can cover a lot because I think it can apply to everybody. And so I did post a short thing on what's the difference between parting the wild horse's mane and warding off or grasping of the bird's tail. So to summarize that, okay, and everybody says, well, there's a big difference, okay? But the difference is, the important thing is, are you able to apply what you see or understand? Sometimes that becomes an issue. So when we part the wild horse's mane, we extend that forward hand in a good upright position. So no problem with that. But when you ward off, you step out and you pause. My hand is surely different. That's an obvious, right? I'm not giving someone a snack, but I'm using my forearm to push away. But I pause because the other component is to turn my hips and waists, reposition my hands, and come back. Very, very different. So sometimes people in the beginning of their journey will cloud it and mix it up and say, this is parting of the wild horse's mane. And then when they come to grasping of the bird's tail and warding off, they tend to mix it up. And it's not clear what they're trying to do. Okay, and I can see where that can be a problem, but if you can make your mind think that each movement has a particular characteristic, okay, and think about the image that we've created and talked about. One is giving somebody a snack. One is martial arts pushing that guy away. Very different, okay?
Just to clarify the intention between the two, between parting the horse's mane and grasping the bird's tail. One is totally an outward movement. Parting the horse's mane is a totally outward movement, whereas grasping the bird's tail begins with a ward-off, which is an outward movement. But the second movement to position is to get in position to retrieve, okay? Parting the horse's mane, totally advancement. Advancement, rotation, that's all you're doing. And then when you come back, you just hold your ball, okay? So that's versus grasping the bird's tail. Advancement, pushing away. And this part almost floats around because you're trying to get around the person because you're getting ready to grab him and pull back. So it's not a out here and then grab. It's boom, just to, the intention is to try to keep this guy from hitting you or pin his hand down if you can, and this hand will come up to try to grab that hand, whereas this hand sort of sweeps around and comes this way, and now you have him by here and here. And then you come back, okay? So one is purely this. The other is, turn back, coming back, okay? So if you picture in your mind what the intention is, then you will get the right movement in the right direction with the right emphasis.
Repulsing of the monkey now. We can't be straight-legged, but we have to kind of remember that our knees are flexible because they're ready for action. One hand in the center, one hand up higher. Glancing at the backhand, bring it closer, turning our torso, meeting in the center, pulling back, pulling forward. Center, higher, glance at the higher, backhand, bring it to the ear, turn the neck, meet in the center, push and pull. Okay, keep on. So hands down. Too many mistakes. What happened? All right. The center hand is always upwards. The backhand is this way. The center hand is stabilizing you. It should be in the center of your body. Once you turn it, it stays there. And it centers you. Keep on doing it. I want to look for mistakes. So the center hand should be about the middle of your body. The backhand is up a little higher towards your side, and you watch it through, and you follow that hand that goes forward. You open, ear, meet, slide. Okay, what happens to this hand that slides? Don't keep on bringing it up high. You're supposed to be sitting back. So if you sit back, that backhand should skim your hip. Okay, try that component, skim your hip. Bring it back, skim your hip. Center, higher, glance, ear, turn, skim your hips. Center, higher, glance, ear, turn, meet, skim your hips. Okay, put your hands down now, okay? That center hand cannot be like this. It has to be like this. Maybe you'll see my left hand looking as if it can't turn flat, but there's an old injury here. But this, no matter right or left, the hand that sits in the center or the middle of your body should be catching the ball. So you can't catch a ball if it's curved, right? You can't catch a ball on your palm if it's not open and ready for it. Okay, that's a premise. It should be in the center. So at no time should it be this way, right? I'm looking at this hand. No time should be that way. It should always be ready for that ball. When the two hands meet in the center, they're not far apart this way, but they're closer to each other for more centralizing and more security. When the hand that pulls back, it should skim your hips. Okay, keep on doing it. Let me just check. Okay, getting better, okay, getting better. So that kind of needs work. Okay, watch me now, okay? So I think you've heard all the things that I wanted, that are essential to make this movement the way it should be. And I think that you've seen me, but then now you're going to have to say, I heard, I understood, now I have to apply and then check what you're doing, because some of the components are not there, okay? So the front hand is this way, the other one is not at the same level, but slightly higher. You're glancing at the top hand, you're bringing it to the ear. Do you see that I'm not crunched up or turning anything? All it is center, here, glancing. That's all, just turning slightly to glance. Ear, not crunched up, meeting, sliding back. You see this hand, it comes back here. Centering, glancing, ear, turning, meeting, sliding, center, glancing, turning, meeting, sliding, okay? And you notice how I'm standing? That will help you, okay? You don't, it's not easy, okay? So it's gonna take it, you're gonna have to work on it over time. But as long as you don't give me two really straight feet, but you know that you're relaxed in the knee, all right? Then this'll make more sense when this hand skims the hip. It's conducive to weighting down and coming back down. But if it's up here, more than likely you're too straight-legged, but you have to relax so that it'll come down, all right? So you might want to try that. Remember that when we do repulsing of the monkey and all of Tai Chi, but especially for repulsing of the monkey, it's easy to just make it a hand thing. And easy to just make it a hand thing. There's nothing that's going on that's helping me with my core, nor my balance. So you want to incorporate core and leg strength and the power of the mind. Do not just take it as a hand motion, although that's easy to do when you're receiving new information. All right, so we're gonna have to do some homework, okay? And I think maybe that will really bring you along a little bit more. To listen to me and get instructions and then kind of remember and kind of not. It's not so good if you don't apply what you need to do, okay? Right. In cloud hands now, it's this kind of motion, right? It's this kind of motion, but it's not this kind of motion, where there's no flexing of the knee. Gotta flex your knee to be able to move your hips and waist and float like clouds, all right? So it's easy for me to tell you this, but it becomes then a little bit of a homework to follow through. When we're parting the wild horse's mane, this foot is this leg or knee area should be elevated. It should not dip. And the reason for that is because once it's dipped, it's throwing your Tai Chi posture off. So whenever you part the wild horse's mane, I'm going to part it this way, okay? This knee in the back should be elevated rather than dipped, okay? Once it's dipped, I'm throwing myself forward. So that's an easy way of getting into a habit that maybe might be hard to correct. But don't take me to the extreme where the knee is so straight like a board that it's locked. You don't want to get into that. So somewhere in between that.
You want that back knee just before it locks. And the function is, once you've got it locked, it's relatively immobile, but very sturdy. So there is a function, martial arts-wise. If somebody's coming at you and you have to hold your ground, the little ratchet just, and it straightens out, it becomes a pole. But until then, if you're out this way and he runs away, you're peg-legged as opposed to you're able to catch up with it. So the knee should always be flexed. That's for that movement. What I would ask you to do when you do your exercises, think about as many joints as you can get involved in your body, moving. Try to avoid any of them being straight or relatively rigid. There are times when they're fairly rigid, but like I say, they have to be some degree of give, but don't do things straight-legged. Try to think the knees are there for something. Your hips are there for something. Your back and your waist are there for something. Your elbows and your shoulders are there for something. So combine that with whatever activities you do.
Okay, wrapping it up, okay, really wrapping it up. Last one for sure, I promise. There was a question about how do you close, okay? And I think it has been probably in every class that they've addressed this. So the right hand is on the inside of the cross, but when it rotates up, the right hand is on the outside of the cross, right? So follow me with your motion. Right hand inside the cross, rotate all the way up. The left wrist on your core then pushes out that right wrist, separates, and then drops. Okay, got it? All right, good. All right, let's go. Yang Ten form, good Tai Chi posture without any support first time, okay? Commencing form, shift weight, open. Deep breath. Pulsing of the monkey. Brush knee. Part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands. Doing it right. Golden cockerel. Shake out. Grasp the bird's tail. Embrace the tiger. Closing form. Okay, round 2. Commencing form. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, rotate, deep breath in, shoulder level, reverse, drop it down, make yourself small. Center, higher, open, glance, ear, turn, meet to your hips. Center, higher, glance, ear, turn, meet to your hips. Brush knee, shoulder, higher, T, all together, step out, brush knee. Sit back, sit down, pivot, parallel higher, make the spirals, help you to do your movements. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, shift weight on a ball, out and to the side. Here it is. Flip the forward hands and you're into cloud hands. Pivot out to the 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, shift weight at 12, golden cockerel. Shift weight, gather energy, center, and follow the kick. Center and out. Holding your ball, we're going to grasp bird's tail. First ward off. Pause, turn the hips and waist, pull down the bird's tail as you look back, sit back. Contact, turn, push out. Spiral back, sit down, spiral forward. Sit down, sit back, pivot, round out with a nice ball and a T, out and to the side. Pause, turn, grasp the bird's tail. Spiral out. Sit down, twist, open, in. Tuck the right hand inside, rotate, so it's now outside. Left hand and core, push out. Drop your shoulders. Gravity takes care of the rest as you now close your feet. Okay, round 3. Take the adjustment, move back to your original position because you are slowly going backwards. Commencing form. Open. Deep breath. Reverse, make yourself small. Center, higher, glance, meet, slide to your hip. Center, glance, slide to your hip. Spiral to your shoulder, one continuous motion to brush knee. Sit back, twist, spiral to your shoulder, soften your movements as you spiral forward. Sit back, twist, nice rounded ball, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Good Tai Chi posture. Sit back, twist, shift weight, bow stance. Flip the hands and join it. Sit back, sit down, 12 o'clock. Use your hips and waist, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Shift your weight at 12. Kick out. Holding your ball, we're going to ward off. Pause, turn hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Other side. Back, twist, open, in, shift weight, embrace, rotate, push from the core, separate, drop shoulders, flex knees, as we now close our form. Okay? Making that adaptation, growing a little taller, keeping our spirits up, commencing form. Pulsing of the monkey. Brush knee. Part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands. O'clock, turn into a golden cockerel. Kick out. the bird's tail. Embrace the tiger or cross hands. Closing form. Okay, one more. Okay. Make it your best. Begin. Yay, good job. Happy Thanksgiving. Good.